Happy Victory Monday, which is something we didn't really get to say for almost the whole month of February.
Yeah, the whole month.
Pretty much.
But we're winners again. Barely.
For a week.
Oh, go on. Napoli is up next. They're not even doing that hot, honestly, lately. So, it is what it is.
It is what it is, right? But look, they won. It wasn't the cleanest. It was great for neutrals, not great for fans. But here we are, post 3-2.
I realized I still had Wallgani up there too. Good old Wallgani.
So how are you, buddy?
I'm okay. I'm gonna have to apologize if you hear the pitter patter of the dogs upstairs. They're trying to get laid, and the one that's trying to get laid is actually behind me right now. So it's just all the bitches yelling at each other. So I'm sorry. There's some dog distraction today. We're trying to make the magic happen.
Dogs and doing the dog. But I mean, let's get into it, right? It's time to really break down into it. 3-2. Really, it was a game that they started off hot, and then they didn't, and then they ended up chasing the game for a good chunk of it. But a couple of storylines to come out of this match. McKennie being an absolute beast this game, but unfortunately dislocating his shoulder. Rabiot dislocating his toe. And Chiesa pissing Allegri off so bad that he threw Yildiz to just throw him off the field. I mean, it was a lot of storylines. I mean, Chiesa's agent being there on the field as well. But if we break it down, Juve 2.1 on the expected goals to Frosinone's 0.38. And then we've got Juve were just peppering shots at that point in the second half. I mean, domination of possession, having all of it. But
second half looked good. I don't know how much of it you caught there at the.
I caught a chunk of it. I caught it all. I was just watching it, listening to it on my phone. But yeah, I don't know. Like, for me, it was kind of frustrating watching that second half where I'm just like, it's just the mere thought of how Frosinone essentially just walked up and down the pitch for those two goals just still kind of irritates me trying to get late.
Aren't we all?
Aren't we all? I don't know. Like, for me, it was kind of frustrating, right? Because this whole month has just been poor execution, and like the only person that's executing is Dusan for like the last 6 weeks or so.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I'm looking at the glass half empty instead of the glass half full, in a sense, because it's just I don't know what's going on with these guys now. Like it seems like there's a huge drop off. Like, yes, I'm happy we won. We finally got a win. We're in second place. We've locked second place to an extent, but
yeah.
It's just such a different kind of feeling that we had going into February and then coming out of February.
We came back to reality. I think that's really what it is. We're kind of leveled out, and we've kind of realized that. I think early on we started to realize, okay, I mean, the good times are over. We gotta. It was bound to happen, right? With the squad that we have, kind of just some pieces fit, some pieces not so much. Kind of thrown together more or less. A lot of young guys, and we were doing amazing. Of course, we were high on ourselves. Why wouldn't we be? We deserve to be. But then, oops! There goes gravity.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? And this is where I'm going to be a little bit like the heel here. There's coming back to earth, and then there's falling flat on your face.
You think we fell flat on our face?
I 100% think we fell flat on.
I think like maybe we tripped and like we got our hands out in time, but we still kind of made a fool of ourselves. But we didn't go face first. I don't know.
Here's the reason why I say that we face planted, because just outside of the inner game, I'm not even considering the inner game, but just how flat we came out against Empoli, even despite the whole red card shenanigans. But like, for example, the Hellas Verona match, this Frosinone match, it's just the lap lack of concentration where it's like defense is our bread and butter, but it's just like the goal Chadira scored. Chadira pulls away, the entire back line's looking at this dude like, what? Like it's just, you look at things like that and it's just excruciatingly frustrating. It's just missed coverages. The midfield just, despite, Kenny's performance, like the midfield there instead of actually being there. Like it was just there to collect a check. Keza, I don't even know if Keza still plays on the roster anymore at this point because, like,
He plays by himself in left wing.
It's just like, yeah, I didn't know what to do. Like it was just, and to kind of go on with Allegri, like Allegri was so pissed at him, and Allegri was telling him, "Hey, man, stop drifting out wide. You're screwing up the left side of the pitch. Stay in the middle. Stay in the middle." And I don't know. It's just his agent was there. I don't know. Like there's that there. I mean, obviously, you lose McKennie and Rabiot for 2 to 3 weeks. That really hurts you right now, midfield wise.
Well, the fact that you're losing both McKennie and Rabiot, and man, Mac, up until that injury, he was just bossing, man. He was like the epitome of box to box, just like running up, down, everywhere. Man, I would actually love to see his heat map because I'm sure it is red hot. And then Rabiot, of course. I mean, it's Rabiot. Good news. We're likely going to see a lot more of Charlie, which may be bad if he doesn't perform, but it's good that we get to test him thoroughly before we splash any heavy money on him as well. So there's maybe a silver lining in that one. And perhaps Moretti can figure himself out, I guess. Just figure it out. He had to come back to reality. He got the bench deservedly. Now, time to prove yourself, bud. It's your chance again. You got 2 to 3 weeks. Let's see what you got.
Or, I mean, at this point, you throw in Hans and you just run
it. Same thing. Let's see what you got, man.
Yeah, like right now, with that being the weakest group, and here's the issue, right? Without McKennie, I think that drastically hurts Cambiaso.
And Weah.
And Weah as well, right?
Depending how they set up.
Like, it's for me, it's just, I don't know. It's a little bit concerning, right? Like a little bit of the glass half empty for me because the midfield, in theory, is your weakest position group. And then it's just more so like, it's gotten like drastically weaker.
Did we is he saying this
sarcastically?
Because we didn't actually. I put his comment up, but we like totally ignored him. I'm sorry. We're doing well, buddy. How you doing? Thanks for joining. And not even a UV fan, but he's here for the vibes. Appreciate you. Even if you're a little bit surly. It's like it's Monday. Don't even say hello. Sorry, I think I cut you off there.
No, you're good. You haven't. Do you have anything? Because like I sound like a negative Nancy.
You would a little bit, yeah. I think the second half was actually very positive, especially if you take the neutrals perspective. The whole game from the neutrals perspective would have been exciting, but
that was an orgasm for him.
Yeah, no, it was a fun one for sure. I had fun. I even got to clip myself yelling. I think I might have even lost some subscribers by the amount of F-bombs I threw down in that short. Because it was F heavy. I realized after I posted, it's like I probably could have bleeped those all out and maybe, But I mean, that's what we are. I'm not hiding anything. It is what we are. No, it was fun overall. The second half, other than not being able to finish at the end of the day, well, at the end of the day, sure we did. But it looked good. It looked like they were actually out to accomplish something for once. Yes, things were exactly locked in as we would have hoped. Yes, we picked up 2 big injuries. But we made it happen. And that really was the epitome of Fino alla fine. At least, again, we'll take that silver lining as well, that we did fight to the last minute. We did show that grinta to just keep on trying. And like, who else but Wallgani, right? And again, that's the epitome of Fino alla fine, is you get your like number 5 center back in there to score the goal at the 95th minute. So I'll take it. I'm happy. I'm happy about that. I just met a worker that works in my hookah bar at the gym and showed me that he won 57 a year. Oh, Jesus. He bet DeBala 3 goals, won 57.
That game was wild.
Now, what I don't understand, like hookah bar and gym, those aren't things that you put together. One's like bad for your health, one's good for your health. I don't know. Explain that. Is this a German thing? It just seems odd to me. Hefe thinks Charlie will do well. I hope so. I have positive vibes about him as well, but we have to see it. And maybe we're getting his first start. It'll be interesting. And Hans, all of them. It's the chance for them to prove themselves. It is the next man up mentality. It's going to be a test. It'll be fun. I hope. Not so much just a heart attack as Jeff is also having. Okay, it's next to the gym. All right, so not the same place, because you see like a smoothie bar in a gym, or like a thing here anyways, maybe even in the States, is at a climbing gym they'll have a cafe. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a thing here. Apparently you get your coffee and go climb a wall. I've done it. It's fun. I love it. We all have our unhealthy, guilty pleasure.
No, the only commonality here with the gym is there's an electronics store next door for all the guys that smash their headphones on the bench.
Raging? Or just being dumb?
I think more so being dumb. I would say more so, like, for example, the amount of girls I've seen like smash their headphones or something like that because they'll take them off and then like forget that they have the weights for them doing the glute bridges and whatnot, and then like all of a sudden you just hear a plate smash a pair of headphones. You're like, oh no!
Probably those super plasticky beats.
I think the worst though is like all the tripods that are at the gym, because everybody now is like a fitness expert / influencer.
Oh,
that's why I don't work out.
My gym doesn't have that. That sounds cringe as fuck.
I don't work out at public gyms anymore.
No, I have one at my work. I don't leave. I don't go anywhere. Screw that. That's insane. I used to. It's nuts. I have obviously been to public gyms. It is not my jam at all. The dogs are losing it. Buddy, like go get laid. I don't know. I don't know what to say, man.
Go get laid. Quotations.
Go get, like, what is wrong? He is 9. He's probably a little. Oh Jesus, sorry. That was a scam call anyway, so they can go fuck themselves. You should shut that boy off. So my gym banned tripods. Excellent. That is what they should be doing. Is Ramadani still Key's agent? Yes, he hasn't changed from him, correct?
Yeah, he was there. He was at the game on Sunday. He was watching the game and there to negotiate a contract extension.
Which is interesting, right? Because what extend what at this point? Like what are we doing? It's looking bad. Like, he had another stinker of a game. You would think that game in particular, oh, my agent's here to talk money. Maybe I should ball out. It's getting tough. This is where I get negative now, is just talking Chiesa. I think a lot of it hurts on the inside because he was my boy. He was all our boy, I think. A lot of us anyways. And it's not.
He's our boy. Good. Now he's turned into a Domenico Berardi who can only play one position, and that's it.
Yeah. Man. You know, it's just so disheartening. It's just, at the end of the day, it's like, bro.
Here's the thing, right? Because people, need to see him as an offensive coach. Guys, Dusan Vlahovic turned his career around. Like, can we sit here and not just say, oh, it's because of the coach, that's why Chiesa's sucking? Can we just say Chiesa is sucking because he is sucking?
No, because when you fanboy and you're an Allegri out-of-stan, it's hard to make that delineation.
Because it's like, come on, guys. They're like, well, if he played with an offensive coach. Guys, Holland is playing for Pep Guardiola and has a slump this year. Like,
yeah, if you're Holland and slumping at Man City, it does not look good.
Exactly. And it's just, I'm getting frustrated because it's like we move the ball. Doosan was positioning well. McKennie was moving the ball well. Charlie was playing well. The only person that was a non-factor was Chiesa.
Yeah, Kostic didn't have a great game either.
I have no expectations for Philip Kostic, Dave. You know better.
I'm trying to be objective and fair to everyone.
I don't know what to say about Chiesa at this point because it's just like, what do we do with him? He's not playing well, and it's consistently him not playing well, and it's just the animations and whatnot. It's like you look at Dusan. Dusan's completely flipped the script, and I am not this guy's biggest fan. I never was. I've made the arguments before where I said this guy is not playing at the price tag that we paid for him. Right now, he is playing at the price tag that we paid for him.
Oh, at least a lot closer to it. I'm sure that's still a bit subjective at this point, I think. What is this tally? I was thinking. I forgot to look it up. It's either 14 or 15, isn't it?
Who? Ducey?
Yeah.
15. He's got 15.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Google just like straight up tells you. It's big fat 15 right in the top
Big
of the
old
page.
15 and I think 4
Nice.
assists. So he's got 19 goal contributions.
Assists. Give me a big old assist number. Yeah, 4. Google, you're amazing.
I am a good one at this. So look, and it's honestly, and it's like German David says, like we completely undersell how he turned out. He did. He honestly did. He got himself in the zone. He got himself in the game. And here's the irony of it. Did Allegri change anything tactically?
He didn't change a goddamn thing, really.
You know what Dusan did? He grabbed his balls and became an adult. That's honestly what he did. He's like, hey, and yeah, he's on fire. He's playing at an incredible level.
To be fair, he did have to pick them up off the ground to get at Vanya.
He did. He really did. You know, he was dragging those suckers across glass shards just for her. But you look at that, and it's just like, what's the excuse for Chiesa now?
Oh, speaking of picking your balls up, the old man is finally going upstairs. Good luck, buddy. All the best. You got to cheer him on.
But like, you know, my pronouns are do sex. Fair enough, lad.
Jesus. I don't even know what that looks like once you take your pants off, but sure, we'll go with it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But like, is there really though? Is there any excuse? Like, I kind of want to hear people's excuses for Chiesa now. Like, the only thing that you can probably say is the whole coach aspect of it, but it's like,
you know what we should do for fun? Is just look at all the DiBala stands. Could we scroll X for DiBala stands?
I don't think they're out. I haven't seen anything.
I haven't looked. Frankie's a glutton for this punishment. He's not even here. He's probably working again.
He's working, yeah.
Bastard. Or in class.
Well, I mean, think about it though. DiBala deservedly so, though. I mean, DiBala's on pace to beat his 17-18 goal tally at Roma this year. Yeah, DiBala has 11 and 6. Could you imagine? And this is where I kind of be petty, right? What if it was Dusan and Paulo playing next to each other?
That's an interesting question. It might work.
I think I might have been wrong with my take about DiBala a couple years ago.
I'm still not a huge fan of him personally.
I'm not. No. I'm not a huge fan of him, but like for the position and the role that he plays, I think him and Dusan would be pretty damn up there.
It's just he didn't really fit into the team. That's why we got rid. And of course, he's asking for.
He was asking for a
money.
I think it was more so him asking for a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, of course.
And then Juve were just kind of like, yeah, we're putting all our eggs in the Chiesa basket.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what happened there.
Different management. We can talk about it all we want, but I mean that's just a whole different ball game that them fired. Some of them just straight up banned, but you know, they're gone now, and we got Gentoli. We got to let him cook, and give him a couple years, right?
Yeah, no,
he doesn't even have a full year yet.
For sure. Well, I mean, he hasn't even had a market besides Charlie, really.
Yeah.
Charlie and Giallo. So that, I mean, that's really the market that he had. But I know, like, the question is, like, let me throw that to you. Like, would you guys take DeBala over Chiesa? Like, is that probable for you folks? Like, I don't know. I think having a DeBala, like, if DeBala is as healthy as he's been this season for Roma, I don't know. I would take it. He started in 18 matches. Like this current DeBala, I think this current DeBala, if you partnered him with the Ducey boy, I think this would hands down be one of the better offenses in the league.
There's also the big gaping hole of our creative outlet, right? Like we don't really have that creative outlet. It was supposed to be Pogba. So I think any profile, I would just make the argument that if you take any profile similar to Dybala, like João Felix, for instance, like, I don't know, take him. You could probably get better output out of this team with Vlahovic up top of him.
Because like right now, what is the main thing that you're missing? Right, you're missing a creative outlet. You're missing a guy that can essentially put the ingredients in the wok and just cook. Because, like, for example, him and Chiesa are not the same guys. Like, player wise, they're not. They're totally different. Or I think, like, for example, I think Chiesa's more linear per se as far as a player. Where I just see Dybala like more free flowing, just kind of like the ability to adapt and adjust. I think Dybala's field IQ as far as a playmaker goes is one of the best in Serie A. Like it is.
Just laughing at KB's just trashing Roma. He's like, screw Dybala. Roma's just trash.
They are, but I think Dybala is the reason why they're not trash right now. Why they still have a fighting chance for top 4.
Sure, he's definitely helped. You got Pellegrini as well. I mean, your favorite player.
Pellegrini.
No. Do I have to?
Oh, Lukaku?
Do I have to? I was getting.
No, I was gonna
You
say.
just wake up and then your heart is just pumping. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, so those moments are crazy.
So crazy.
Yeah, Vlad says Dybala's still class 50% of the time that he's still fit. LJJ says I would take a fit Dybala, and that's the question, right? Would he be?
That's the perpetual question with him as well.
Yeah. Jeff says keep Chiesa only next season if we play a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. And then do we think Dybala misses Juve? Probably. I don't know. Dybala's a 10. Yes, we know Dybala is a 10.
Yeah, he wears 10.
Like this his play style is a 10.
Oh, is it 10? Yeah. But we're just hypothesizing with our current setup.
Yeah.
We're not being like super serious here. We're just kind of.
That's actually an interesting question as far as fitness goes, Chiesa and Dybala.
No, they're about the same. Chiesa's winger not being played as one. Yes. But then the question, I know we've posed the question, is if you want to be considered world class and take world class money, you should be able to have some sort of adaptability.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, for example, and this is just using the Dybala example. Dybala's played in multiple fronts for Roma as a right winger, as a cam, as a false 9, or as a 9. He's done that all. Like, Dybala's played in multiple positions.
We watch Chiesa with the Azzurri, and he does amazing against shit Balkan teams. That somehow still beat us half the time. So yeah, I'm not trying to completely throw him under the bus, but
no, right? But here's the argument: why is Spalletti switching to a 3-5-2 in a sense?
Because he can't trust his wingers.
He can't trust his wingers. Because Spalletti's kind of moving towards that back 3. The only time he wouldn't do a back 3, even with a back 3, it'd be a 3-4, like a 3-4-3 or a 3-4-2-1. But even then, that's just, again, heavy wing back play. Chiesa can't, like, for example, right now, I think Chiesa's kryptonite. Chiesa can't play with a dynamic wing back. And guess who's going to be in the Azzurri? Guess who's going to be that dynamic wing back that's going to be playing behind him? It's DeMarco.
Got DeMarco and Spinazzola come back. Does he still have it in him? You're gonna have.
But that's the question. Like, Dave, like, for example, that's one of the big concerns that you have with Chiesa, right? Is like, you see him with Cambiasso, and him and Cambiasso and Kostic, they just don't gel well. And then can you imagine with DeMarco? Because, like, for example, DeMarco's is a touchline to touchline wing back.
Yeah, and he's totally going to get in his space if they play that 3-5-2. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're a 4-3-3 system player, go to Napoli. Play left wing for Napoli. But at Juve, up until some of the more recent years, but Juve has been that more Grinta style team that you don't necessarily have these superstars that you have to put in a specific position and feed, like a la Ronaldo. Chiesa now in this case, where we're trying to like, oh, he's out of position, he must play there. Well, if he must play there, then he must play for a team that plays that formation, because we're not doing it. I'm sorry. Like, he's a great player. I love him. But if it's not working out, it's not working out. And it's coming up on contract year. We have to make the decision. That's what it is. It comes down to money. And he, just like Dybala was a very expensive, nice to have piece that you can play in when you're healthy. Not very great value for money. And money's a big deal for Juve right now. It's a huge deal. We brought Gentoli in to not make these ridiculous contracts. So the writing's on the wall. I'm not here to say that, oh, Chiesa, he's the biggest piece of shit he'll ever make. No, that's not the case. But the writing is on the wall. And I mean, unless there's a turnaround, we're going to have to start coming to terms, if we haven't already, that he's likely not going to be with us for very much longer.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, for example, in theory, though you would want him to be your franchise guy, he's essentially kind of put himself as a luxury piece.
Yes, that's the word, luxury.
Like, he's a luxury piece, and that's the issue. Where it's like, for example, right now, McKennie's not a luxury piece. McKennie is crucial in your entire execution of your offense. McKennie and Cambiaso, and
they're
Dusan,
essentially those are Allegri players that he could be like, you're going there today, just ball out, and they're like, yes, boss, I'll do it.
Like, that's the thing, right? Like, for example, Dusan, I think Dusan's kind of bought into it and kind of adjusted the way that he's playing as well. Like, Dusan's positioning is better, his understanding of where to be and how to be there is getting better, his shot's getting better. It's like, for example, with Chiesa, you don't see that adaptation with him. And for example, for a lot of the Allegri out folk to sit there and say, well, Allegri doesn't know how to utilize Chiesa, then why is Spalletti switching out of that 4-3-3?
And this will be a great test if it happens, if he does go to another team, or even just the Azzurri with the 3-5-2. How does he actually fit in and work? Right? I
don't know.
And it's kind of like Jeff's question last week. If you put Allegri on Inter and Inzaghi on Juve, what would the outcomes be? Right? Like, it's obviously very hypothetical. But I mean, there's more questions than answers, essentially, at this time with Chiesa. And unless he proves us wrong, again, the writing's on the wall. Quick question: what's the difference between Leao and Cavaro, Chiesa? Leao's actually slumping a bit right now. So is Bar. They all kind of are really right now.
So with Leao, the main difference between Leao, I think Leao, his pace is probably better than the other two. Leao's got a ridiculous amount of pace where Leao could just poke the ball in front and outpace them. Though I think it's more so like my question, like with Leao, he's not like, for example, Crava. I think Crava is like the more finesse dribbler compared to the other two, where it's like, for example, Chiesa is like the lightning in a bottle in a sense, where he can give you like an incredible dynamic play out of nowhere, where Chiesa's the wild card player, essentially, where like he can give you some incredible moments, like just some ridiculous moments. But like, for example, if you're looking at a consistent pace threat, you would look at Leao. If you're looking at someone that's very dangerous as far as an inverted winger that's able to beat someone one-on-one, where you have to at least put two players on them at all times because they're going to dribble the first one, I would put Crava there. Chiesa is more of a wild card, but like the issue is like, and I think all three of those wingers are going through what I like to call their sophomore slumps, where like, they pop off and then they slump for a little bit. But the issue is like, I think the other two have had a little bit longer highs than Chiesa have. Because, like, for example, Cravo was dominant for over 12 months. Same thing with Leao.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
Leao's been well, a couple of years really. Yeah, he's had his ups and downs, but
Yeah,
Leao's been cooking for a little bit.
with Chiesa, like his peak was, January as a right mid in Pirlo's 4-4-2 up until the end of the Euros. And then, injuries, health issues, ACL tear, and then you just haven't seen that. So like it's there, but it's not there entirely. So for him, it's very difficult to really give, like, it's hard to be hard on Chiesa, but at the same time, it's kind of getting to the point where you can't really give him a pass. Like he's got to adjust at this point, because the difference between Crava and Leao is they didn't tear their ACL on their left leg. And for a left winger, your left leg is your most important thing, because that's the leg that you're pushing to cut off, to cut in.
Yeah. I did want to share this just because I don't know if everyone has seen it or not, but that is Rabiot's toe. Fun times. It is no longer attached. It's attached, just it's mostly just not
being held by a ligament.
Oh man, yeah, that's gotta hurt.
So David says the only problem with Leao and Crava get man marked for 90 minutes, and Chiesa can't produce when he's unmarked because he runs into dumb 2v1 duels. And that's the other thing too I kind of wanted to throw on there as well, is the field IQ for Chiesa is not there. But that's what happens when you're a wild card, right? It happens. Like he can make things happen, but at the same time, he just wants you to smash your TV at the same thing. Like Chiesa is that really toxic girlfriend with the very, very nice body, where you're just pissed off at her all the damn time. And then it's just like she pops off and has a moment where you're just like, oh my God.
It's just like, she's so dumb, but she's so hot. Oh, really? Cool. And Oscar, how you doing? It has been a little bit.
Yeah, we haven't seen Oscar in forever.
Yeah, man. You're our Danish representation. Without you, we got no Danes.
Du sans accent.
Oh man. All right. I'm looking at this. We have not really said any of the news in the past few days because we've been just so game focused. So I'm looking at it now. It's a little bit dated, but I think it's worth saying, and we can talk about some of this stuff if we feel, just to shift away from the game itself. And I feel like we've just kind of
got to fill 30 minutes. We got to
we just kind of angled into Chiesa. So I just a nice little let's take a little break. So Nicola Shira on YouTube, the preferred translations. The preference of Juventus to replace Max Allegri is neither Conte nor Zidane. In case of a change on the bench, the chosen one is Motta. The Bianconeri have already had phone contacts with him, and they also had the opportunity to meet with his entourage from around. I think these are all from around Juventus. Yeah, they all are. So we've talked about this, that if Allegri leaves for whichever reason, that Motta looks like he's perhaps the next man up. And this is just more fuel for that fire, I believe. Do you think this is just, let's be sure, we don't know what's going to happen, let's just make initial contacts, see where the parties are sitting, reassess in the summer?
I really... Go ahead, Dave.
Or no, you go ahead. Or is there something else?
No, I don't think there's really anything. I think it's just speculation. I think it's because, for example, the reason why the Motta rumors or the Motta talk has intensified is they won 5 straight matches. They're in 4th place.
And there's that. There's definitely that. That's a good point. They are in 4th place now.
Because it's for example, when Bologna was playing like ass for a month or so, they're just kind of it's like the Simpson meme where he kind of just disappears into the brush. It's kind of like what it was then. And then it's like Bologna started winning and started getting hot again. And then they're just kind of like, oh, well, should Allegri leave? Motta's the most. Because, for example, most football fans, I'm not going to say all football fans, most football fans have the attention span of a squirrel. So when they see a shiny toy that does well for 2 or 3 weeks, they start clapping their hands and wanting said toy. So right now, For full respect for Motta's Bologna is absolutely cooking right now. But, folks got to relax because I saw there's a hilarious comment. So this comment here, we want a modern coach who plays attacking football, but I'm absolutely aghast for Motta. Like that's where I'm sitting there and I'm like, guys, if someone wants to tell me that Motta plays offensive football, then you have no idea what kind of football Motta plays.
This is what bothers me is that people just want, like you said, something new shiny toy.
Yeah, it's a new shiny toy.
It could be like it could be like Wish.com, whatever the crap falls apart has lead paint in it. They don't care. I just want a new one. I'm part of the corporate cogwheel, and I just need to keep on getting new things to appease my insatiable need for consumerism. That's all that shit is. It's consumerism. I just want more new whatever. Just give it more. Consumerists, whatever. They're probably the same ones that yell at capitalism too, the bastards. If Max leaves, then I see the Conti Zidane and Motta rumors. Yeah, I mean, they're all probably a little bit in that mix.
I think to be honest with you, I think the debate whether or not Max stays is going to be essentially revolving around Chiesa. Because, like, for example, if the club chooses Chiesa, then then Max is out the door. If the club chooses Max, Chiesa's out the door. I think it's one or the other. There's going to be a breakup in the summer. Like, there's going to be either one of the two leaves per se.
And yeah, attacking football is expensive. Very true. Like if you want to play Man City, Liverpool, Real Madrid is just ridiculous.
To play attacking football, you need two things: a ridiculously high wage bill and some of the most biggest prima donnas that aren't really like stile Juve, like that aren't really Juve players in a sense. That is how you get that attractive football. Because, like, for example, could you imagine Jack Grealish? Like, you know how he was when he won the Champions League, how pissed drunk he was on every video? Juve would not let that slide. They would have essentially gave him the Arturo Vidal treatment. So, like, that's why, like, for example, Juve will never go that route because it goes against their corporate brand, because Juve is always ridiculously corporate-fied. Like, it's all about corporate, right? The image, nothing stupid, no shenanigans or nothing like that. And then also, right now, Juve don't believe in a high wage bill. So the best style of play that Juve can do is a pragmatic approach. And that's kind of what Motta does, and Motta fits that mold. Same thing with Zidane as well, that a lot of people don't realize, but Zidane was extremely pragmatic when he coached Real Madrid. Whether or not, and my concern is, he's been away from being a manager for 3 years. The question is, how is he gonna adapt? He's been gone for 3 years, unless he's, gone away and done some monk training and tactics, but that's that. And then here's a good question here. Why does nobody talk about Italiano? That's a total change. You want to know why? Because Italiano doesn't play hipster ball anymore.
Yeah, nobody is talking about him now. It's just like he dropped off. He realized that it's unsustainable. Like De Zerbi, unsustainable. That's again, it comes back to money. If you don't have the bench to continue this on for 45 games, however many games, and man, with this World Cup coming up, it's going to be like 71 games if you go all the way, I think. Champions League, Club World Cup. Like, it's insane. You cannot maintain that.
No.
Like, they're humans. They break. They wear out.
Like, for example, with De Zerbi, right? De Zerbi is hovering in 7th place, tied with West Ham for 8th. And then he's got Wolves right behind him. And this is where I had this issue with all of the hipster. I call them hipster enthusiasts, hipster culture.
Palladino hipster?
No, I don't think so. Palladino's pragmatic. He's always been pragmatic.
Okay, I was just wondering.
That's why no one's talking about him, because it's like, he hasn't done anything crazy. Yeah. It's just attacking football works when you have, again, like, for example, there's 3 teams, maybe 4, that can execute it properly. City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and then you want to throw in Real Madrid into the mix. The reason why Man City has practically, in theory, they could have a squad of 30 players. That's how deep their roster is, because they can afford it. Arsenal, the same thing as well, with the amount of kids that they pump out, and it sounds like they're a grooming facility. Liverpool as well, because that was one of the things that Klopp made and he wanted, because it's kind of funny because Jurgen Klopp's 15-year-olds beat Chelsea in the EFL Cup final, which was a joke in itself.
Yeah.
So it is, and then Real Madrid, like, let's be honest, Real Madrid is funded by the Spanish monarchy, so they will never run out of money.
Oh yeah, it's insane. The
It's
amount of money
it
at Real
is.
Madrid.
And the amount they make is insane too.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, you'll have spurts, like, for example, what Inter's doing, but even that, like, Inter Milan isn't playing attacking football. They're not playing attacking football. They're playing
They have a
football.
very beautiful counter attack that they're clinical on. And that's what it is.
It's a pragmatic approach that they have a ridiculous conversion record so far.
It's what will Arsenal win?
No, Arsenal will never win anything. Arsenal are essentially just the epitome of losers.
They're kind of like the Maple Leafs.
They are the Maple Leafs. No, it's not. They're kind of. They're 100%.
Yeah, they rebuild. They put the money. It's like, oh, they're doing well. They're beaten. No, too bad.
Like, honestly, like, Brighton is a poor man's Arsenal in a sense. The only thing, like, the main thing that Brighton really go for them is, like, Brighton has, like, one of the best scouting groups in all of Europe. Like, Brighton has one of the best scouting networks in Europe. The fact that they were able to bring in players and flip them to Chelsea and Liverpool for, X amount of dollars. But here's the thing. So, like, yes, they hold possession, but Inter with possession, here's the difference between Inter, right? So, like, Inter, all they need is 3 passes and they've scored on you.
Mm-hmm.
All they need is 3. Nothing more than that. Where it's like, for example, a Brighton team, right? Like, for example, a Brighton team will move the ball to the left, move the ball over here, move it there, move it there. It will take 20 passes, 10 to 15 passes, and everyone's yelling Olay and foaming at the mouth. Where Inter's like, I don't give a shit. I just need 3 and I'm scoring on you.
Yeah.
And that's how Motta is with Bologna. Like, tactically, that's how they are. Because, like, for example, I ask you guys to look at Bologna's matches and look at their expected goals. You can say expected goals is a terrible stat. It's fine, but just hear me out here. Bologna score more than what they're expected to score.
You just chopped out there.
Did I?
Yeah. Sorry, but you're good. You're good.
Okay. So, like, for example, the reason why Motta and Bologna are doing so well, and it's not going to be the narrative that Bologna have better players than Juve. It's not really true. Like, it's not. Let's be honest here. Might be 1 or 2, but that's it. Bologna, the way that they cut through defenses, and the way that they're being very, very concisive in the way that they take their opportunities and chances, is almost like a mirror of Inter. Like, for example, you watch any of Inter's games. Like, Inter just effortlessly cuts through any defense with 1 or 2 passes. Like, for me, I was appalled with how efficient Inter was in breaking down Atletico Madrid's defense. Atletico Madrid, one of the stingiest. Some may say Bush League, shithouse ball, all of that. Like, Diego Simeone is the guy that you don't want to walk into an alleyway at night because he will bust a beer bottle and shank the shit out of you with it.
He's filthy, is he?
Absolutely. But yet the way that how organized his defenses are, it's insane. But, like, for example, even so, using Inter and Lecce, Inter was expected with a 2.93. Inter scored 4 that game. We can even use Atletico because this is where they forgot their shooting shoes. 2.30, Inter only scored 1 against Atletico Madrid. To have an expected goals of 2.3 against Atletico Madrid is insane. The reason is they're concisive in how they break down a defense. Takes 2 to 3 passes. That is in theory what Allegri ball is. With what a lot of people don't understand. That's how Allegri plays. It's just, unfortunately, you don't really have that much of. You just don't have, for example, you don't have a Barella. You don't have a Chanaloglu who's playing lights out, despite him being corny and saying he's the best defensive midfielder in Europe behind Rodri.
It
was corny. It's corny, but at the same time,
you don't say it. You don't
say it, but he's balling out.
I don't care. You don't say it.
So
that's massive douchebaggery right there.
It is debauchery, but right now it doesn't matter who you have behind the bench, because if your main playmakers aren't making plays, You could give them Pep Guardiola and nothing will happen. Like, for example, Man City this season. Man City has struggled to create and do anything, and they have Pep Guardiola as their coach.
Bayern's having a bad year. It's one of those years.
It happens.
Those years.
Let me read some of the chats here. Brighton has 62% ball possession on average, but it's all empty calories because the second half they lose the game. They concede 1.6 goals per game, and that's leaky bad. Leaky bad.
Yeah. If you have that much possession, you should be pretty tight as well.
I like this one. Arsenal is equal to Napoli, which is so true. Arsenal is the almost won the title, the title club.
Yeah, the almost
won the title. Exactly. Allegri does not have those players nor the midfield, and that's why, like, I think, to be honest with you guys, like, if people are like, "Oh my gosh, that's such a lie," Allegri didn't turn down Real Madrid. I guarantee you, if Allegri went to Real Madrid would be pretty damn good.
I think he probably
damn
good.
Okay.
He might get a Champions League even.
He might get a Champions League there, because could you imagine having a midfield trio of Valverde, Modric, and Cruz, and then a front three of Benzema, Vinicius, and I'm saying Benzema because at the time when he went there, Benzema would have still been there. Benzema, Rodrigo, and Vinicius. Like,
I know.
and then ball
nuts.
playing center backs as well, with an amazing right back. It's just like, you're welcome. But we have to look at, and this is why and like I said earlier, I think, a majority of footy fans have the attention spans of squirrels, where they just can't sit there and just.
It's just people in general.
I think right? People in general. And it's like, guys, tell me that you're not a footballing player or a football player without telling me you're a football player when people make assessments like that. Because there's different styles of coaching. There's the I need to tell you how to shit coach, and then there's the coach that says take your shit but make it stylish. And this is kind of like how
draw with your shit. Show me your art. Your shit. Poop jokes.
Like, you got to go back and fix this defense. I don't care if we got to sit deep for 90. Which, yeah, like I said, that's something that we mentioned earlier. From a glass half full perspective or a glass half empty perspective, the defense is the backbone of this roster.
Except in February. But I'm gonna say, with injuries and red cards and all that nonsense, it's clear to me, at least, that you need both Danilo and Bremer on the pitch, and then you can throw in your wild card like Gatti
or Rugani.
Or Wallgani in that case too, yeah.
So the question is, and I kind of want to throw this to the chat, who's technically the bona fide starter? Is it Gatti or Rugani?
Gatti. I think with Danilo and Bremer, that having Gatti allows to have one of those that does step up and does provide some of that offense as well. But it's because Danilo and Bremer have that stability to allow that to happen. And even then, Gatti gets cooked and he leaves them out to hang, essentially, right? It's imperfect, but I think Rugani. I mean, if you need to lock down a game, sure, you throw in Rugani. If you're sitting deep, throw him in. But otherwise, I think we can wake out. You got a Gatti.
Yeah, it's difficult to pick, right? I think it's
Stop it, Vlad.
He says, Alexander.
Stop it. Hard to pick. Prefers Wallgani.
Depends.
Yeah, it's a bit of a toss-up. I mean, that's my own opinion, Gatti, obviously, but you can 100% put Wallgani.
Oh, you Gatti stand. Who I think?
Yeah. What do you got?
I would go for, because, like, for example, I would have Danilo as my defensive creator, essentially. So for me, I would probably put Wallgani instead of that, but I would have Danilo on the left or right. It doesn't really matter, right? I would put Danilo on the right.
Yeah, on the outside.
And then it's more so you would put Wallgani there to compensate. But I think the one player that sits both Wallgani and Gatti down, if he's healthy and if he's anywhere where he once was as Vlad says it, Jallo.
Yeah, hopefully we see Jallo soon. Going back to Morton here, put some respect on Allegri and McKennie's name. Pretty sure Allegri ball finally broke McKennie, though. No, that was a bad tackle, and he landed right on his shoulder.
No, McKennie carrying the team popped his shoulder out. That's what that was.
Yeah, couldn't handle the weight.
He couldn't handle the weight of the comeback. He had to carry Dusan and the team now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think though, because I'd like, and here's the thing that I thought was insane. Everybody was saying that Dean Hoyston is, well, not everybody. Let me correct this. A majority of the squirrel folk were saying that Hoyston is the de facto number 2 on the back line,
No.
which I thought was wild.
no, he's not. Maybe in a few years from now.
He's currently, and this will piss people off. He's currently either 5 or 6.
Yeah. Let's be reasonable here, guys. He just showed up to the party. Give him a chance.
Like,
come on, guys.
Could you imagine being Jallo and that's all you see is like this little 18-year-old Dutch kid? Just everyone's like, yeah,
Or Spanish.
What's a Jallo? And yeah, Frankie called that out on Discord too, because like Frankie was like the audacity that these people have, and it's like
you were angry. He came in all angry, like, I would never believe Weston will ever be this important for you. Nobody did. We wrote him off, man.
they threw Weston when he went to Leeds. They threw him to the pack, and he came back leading it. That's what he did. Weston is like the footballing Jared Goff, where they like cast him out and left him out to die, and he came back and made his career even better. David says Hoyston's one of those shiny toys. Give him time to develop. We see great highlights, but also a sloppy defense. He did.
Yeah, we have to be careful with the highlights because it makes him look amazing.
His own goal was atrocious today.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but
it was atrocious. LJJ says, I can't wait to see Jallo play. I'm very curious to see what he adds, and I'm curious to see how the knee injury affected him, because like if you just got a hell of a defender for cheap.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's everyone right now. Just want to see what
it's only. I think it's only a 2-year contract, but still, like you got a hell of a defender.
I mean, that's fair. Coming off injury, you don't lock that in long term. So
no, for
but
sure.
If he cooks off, I mean, extend
pace, strength. It's if anything, like for example, you see that. I guarantee when Jallo plays, like Vlad's losing his mind because Vlad is a huge Jallo fan. So Vlad will probably just flat out just go for it. Hoyston scored 2. 2 is in his own.
Yeah. Okay, so this piece of news, this would have been nice. It's still on the back of time. All right, so from Guido Angelozzi, reported by Around Juventus again, Frosinone sporting director to Tutto Sport. This is a couple days. This is before the game. Kyle Horge. Sule, I say it different every time. I'm just rolling with that. Sule and Drillinacea will make the fortune of Juve. My first objective among the 3 was Sule, and in August I was in Turin for him. And when there was the game between the first and second squad at the stadium, Kyle scored 3 goals and impressed me with his talent. I discussed it with Gentoli, Manet, Carabini, and Allegri. He told me that he only needed to play, and I decided to take him. The same happened with Drillinacea. To me, they are all worthy of Juve. Then it will be up to the coach and the Bianconeri managers to decide, as they are really good at doing it based on their needs. But these are 3 players that can bring fortune to Juve either on the field or in the Mercato. So some pretty nice words there coming from Frosinone, Guido Angelozzi there. I don't know. You have any thoughts? I mean, we've been watching them, I think, fairly closely. The most we've ever watched Frosinone, I'd have to say.
I think they've done well for where they're at. Like, are they world class? No. I think they're serviceable options. I think the only thing, like for example, we need to look at with Sule, right? Like for example, Sule's and again, guys, look up the stat as well. The amount of times that Sule gets the ball at Frosinone will be cut drastically in half when he comes and plays at Juve.
Yeah, that's a big thing to consider.
So the one thing you'll have to look at Sule, right, is like, can he make do with less touches? Because, like, for example, you run into this issue with football, right, where you have 11 players on the field and only 1 ball on the field.
Well, there's
Or
22. There's 22 people on the field. I
touche,
guess.
but I'm saying like on your roster. So Sule will have to understand that like he will not be the de facto one playmaker on the roster unless he's earned it. Like that's just the fact of the matter. Because like, for example, who's going to carry the ball up? It's going to be McKennie. It's going to be Cambiaso. It's going to be Kostic, heaven forbid. It's going to be Locatelli. So there's a lot of stuff that go into it, and you got to be decisive with the amount of touches you get. Like, for example, Sule could get 40 touches at Frosinone, but at Juve he might get 15, 16, and he'll have to be decisive with it. And I think that's what Dusan learned in Dusan's resurgence, is that Dusan kind of had to understand where it was like, okay, I don't get as much touches as I do in Fiorentina. How do I maximize that? And that's what he's done. Kudos to him.
Dave making an F1 joke here. I hope they talk nice about us, Dave, referencing Frosinone. They are a Visa Cash App RB Formula One team. So now you have to say the whole name because it's that ridiculous. They like to go with V-Carb, but no, it's Visa Cash App Racing Bulls Formula One team. Say it all. But they're basically Red Bull Junior, and that's the joke. Like they're in the same factory. They're basically just the same team, but with their B team. So there's the joke. If you don't get it, then you need to join us at 10 a.m. Eastern time. That's 4 p.m. Central European time on Saturday for the kickoff of the F1 season. Me and Dave. It's going to be a double D, but a little bit of a mix-up because we're putting
it's the German and the Canadian D.
Yes, all the good D, the better Ds. Yes, we're branching out. We dabbled with F1 last year during the summer break. But we're gonna start off the season. Start it off right. I watch a fair amount of European football. Juventus is one of the few teams that score from crosses in the run of play, at least occasionally.
That's
we do all right with the crosses.
It's old school play. Like Juve play old school with that wild stat. Juve have 120 completed dribbles this season. Sule has like 73.
That actually is a wild stat.
It is a very wild stat.
Yeah, thank you for that one. That is good. All right, I have one last piece of news that I have handpicked out of the dabbling of the news the past few days. Juve and Fiorentina will discuss in the summer the future of Arthur, and in the discussion, the defender goal scorer Martinez Corta could be included. The Argentine has a contract that expires in 25, and his renewal is on the rise. After Giallo, the Bianconeri club could bolster the defense by investing on another defender. In addition to Calafiore from Bologna, the defender of the Tuscans is also in their sight. Without an agreement to extend, the player born 96 could leave in order to avoid losing him for free the following year. And we're monitoring the situation. So, interesting that Arthur is still being discussed because perhaps, what was it, 20 mil? We're trying to.
Yeah, 20 mil is the option.
So maybe they're just trying to get Corta, like instead of paying.
I guess.
Which is interesting. Let's see how much he's worth. Martinez Corta. I just typed in Corta, and of course it was like, it means 4.
Pendejo.
Thanks. Oh man, I cannot type. Sorry, this is taking longer because I cannot type. His value is accept and continue. 14 mil.
Yeah.
Not great. It is on the rise after slumping a bit. I guess I'll share this. I'll share so we can all see.
We all see together. David says, can we somehow shithouse 10 defenders into our starting 11? That'd actually be funny.
Sure.
That would be so funny.
Why not? Yeah, so this is that didn't do what I wanted. I made it smaller. Whatever. You can see it. It's 14 mil. And yeah, here's the he came up, went back down, coming back up again. He's 27. I don't see why. Does this make any sense to you? I like he's okay. I'm not saying he's horrible, but what are we gonna do with him?
Well, I mean, if you're going for him, that means you're moving one of your center backs, either
It'd have to
Wallgani
be.
or Gatti or them, or Hoyson. So, like, to be honest, though, really, what I'm thinking about when I'm looking at future, and we'll probably call it after this segment when it comes to like, we'll finish the show on future buys because we talk about everything now. We're gonna run out of stuff for Wednesday because I got a feeling it's gonna be a slow news week.
I hope not, but I mean, we can just type up some more F1.
We could.
And you know what? I want to talk. Could we talk about baseball's new pants after? Not now, but like after. I want to
On
talk about
Wednesday?
baseball's. Do it on Wednesday. We got to talk about baseball's pants.
Yeah, we'll do it on Wednesday because it's a
Okay.
tinfoil hat show. I think it'll.
That's true.
Because
Okay.
it's like, yeah, I think it'll fit more there, but
Not
so
the pants though. They don't fit.
they don't fit. Clearly. But I think ending this, so we'll end it because we've hit the hour mark. But really, when we're looking at transfer strategy, I don't think we need to be looking at wingers. Like straight up wingers, I think we need to be just done with wingers in general.
Mm-hmm.
Look at some creative players in the middle to give you some X play in the middle of the field. I'm kind of getting a little bit over the whole like winger play. Like Mo Salah made wingers cool in like 2018, 2019, 2020, and then it's just like
Then the
now,
pandemic happened, and now it's just 3-5-2. It's just
yeah,
like, let's move
everybody
on.
switched to 3-5-2. It's just one of those things where it's just leave me alone with the winger talk. Like I
like
can't.
it. Like, yeah, I'm a fan. I love that style of play, but I've come to terms with how, I guess, impractical it can be to run on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I don't know. Like flat out wing play just works when you're playing in the Premier League, where they just have no defensive solidarity, and it's just kind of like you have those one-on-one battles where it's just like I don't know, like you just need a lot of pieces for yourself to really consistently do a 4-3-3 like that. It's just like, if Juve really want to get out of this hunk and if they really want to help Allegri, you need a ball mover like Pjanic. That's one. Two, you're going to need an 8 like Khedira, or like, for example, a 6 like Matuidi, something like that, right? If you get two of those pieces in the midfield, you'll see an Allegri team do phenomenally better. Because, like, let's be honest. Can any of the current midfielders on this roster even equate to Pjanic at Pjanic's prime? Not really.
Pjanic was kind of special at his prime.
Like, absolutely nothing. And then, like, for example, getting something with a similar profile to Khedira, like, it's just that elevates your midfield so much. So much. And then possibly getting, dare I say, a Xerxes to play alongside Dusan up top, because Xerxes' release clause is 30 million.
And that's
Xerxes
affordable.
It is extremely affordable. Because, like, for example, could you imagine playing Xerxes next to Dusan, where Xerxes is a support striker to Dusan's finishing? So Xerxes, tall, strong, good with his back to goal, being able to slot Dusan through. Like, could you imagine having that 1-2 punch as your 1 and 2? Because right now, as a striking unit, we have a number 1. We don't have a 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah.
Yildiz is still too young. Verdict's out on him yet. There's no verdict on Yildiz. You got to let him play a little bit more. Then, like, for example, Keane, I don't know if Keane is rehabbing his shin or if he's dropping another mixtape. Milik is, again, he is just a substitute where you need to garbage time or do something. Milik is an Anatovic, and essentially.
Mm-hmm.
He's like how Inter have Anatovic. He's there as a backup, take minutes, get a goal, get a do, and that's pretty much it. But the thing that Juve are generally lacking as far as the front line goes is you have Dusan as your 1A, you need the 1B. Lautaro's 1A, Thuram is 1B. You need that. Not having that hurts you really, really badly.
I have not talked about Italy's new kit yet. I'll just throw it up. I'm looking at it now. It's kind of...
I don't want to see trash.
Yeah. I don't know why there's like this staticky line shit going on with it. I like the tricolor on the shoulders. That's cool. But whatever this pattern is trash. Adidas, Do better. 2-2-5-2. Jesus Christ.
People are just trolling at that point. I do think, like, for example, Vlad says get Cruz or Jorginho. Like, Jorginho, watch, and people will hate this, right? I guarantee you, Jorginho plays in this midfield. This midfield does better. As crazy as it sounds.
We've been talking about him for years.
Like, yeah, guys can sit there and say, yeah, an actual 45-year-old. Absolutely. I'm telling you, you play Loca and Jorginho next to each other with a McKennie or something like that, the midfield will be progressively better. That is how poor the state of the current midfield is. And I'm not saying this like I'm Jorginho's biggest fan. I'm a Jorginho advocate. I'm saying if you look at what things are, and wow, that kit looks terrible.
I don't know what's going on with the shoulders. Now this one they screwed up the shoulders. Oh god damn it, Adidas. Which other one? Which other one are we trashing? Just throw it in there. Well, I'll just do it on the fly.
You know, it could have been a great segment on Wednesday.
It could have. Yeah. We're doing it now. It is what it is. Cruz. Everyone needs a Cruz in their life. An actual 45-year-old. He's what, like 35?
34?
Something like that, yeah. The kit's an abomination. Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, they do. Adidas does make a lot of bad jerseys. Like everyone from every year in the MLS. All of them. MLS and Adidas.
32. Jorginho's actually 32 years old.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect for Italian football. Fine wine.
Yeah. I'm actually not opposed to experimenting with them.
Okay. You're saying Germany 1990. I can kind of see, but no. Germany 1990 had that iconic thing on the chest. And that's ballin' as fuck. And I love it. Whatever the fuck that is, go screw itself. Yeah, I feel like, yeah. No, they're not. They're failing. They're failing at life. Jorginho ain't running anyone down ever again, sorry. No, he probably isn't. But he's a good deep line.
No, I don't think you need him to, right? Because you'd have him play in front of Bremer. So, like, whoever's running past Jorginho is running into Bremer.
Oscar wants him now. Do it right now. But yeah, he could do well in Serie A. I bet you if Inter weren't so stacked in the midfield, they
would probably get him.
Yeah.
No, they wouldn't hesitate. They would get him. Like, for example, if the Chanaloglu experiment failed, Jorginho would be on that roster right now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
As unpopular as that sounds, I think he would be on that roster right now. Hell, they got Zielinski, who is essentially an effective Mkhitaryan replacement.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Even their bench is
because it's a hypothesis, right, guys? Like, I'm not guaranteeing you, but I'm telling you, I think if you were to get Jorginho in this midfield and say that you had a midfield of Locatelli, Jorginho, and Charlie, Locatelli, Jorginho, or McKennie,
it's actually not that bad.
It's not that bad because, for example, now you can have Locatelli play a little bit more forward, be a little bit more creative up top, because you know Jorginho is a surefire ball mover.
Frankie wants Veerman. That came out of left field.
Morton says Jorginho could slow them down, I guess. Yeah, by either doing his weird hop step that he does for his pens.
Oh, yeah. Do not let him take penalties.
Don't let him take penalties. But in all honesty, though, it's not bad for what you have right now. Like, for example, am I going to sit here and try to sell you about, well, yeah, of course we forgot about Rabiot, but he's hurt, so I'm just saying with what we currently have.
And he might not even be here next year.
He might not even be here next year. But even so, like, for example, Locatelli, Rabiot, and Jorginho. Like,
let's do it.
That's not a bad midfield.
I'm guilty of when I need some depth in my midfield and I just want a rotational piece when I play FIFA career mode, I pick up Jorginho. Actually, because I'm in 2029, I picked up Locatelli this time for my 30-year-old depth piece. It works well. Yeah, I mean, they're good. They're good. I'll take them. In actual reality, there's a reason why I do it in my fantasies, because I would do it for reals. Rabbi said, we can't sell them. We don't own them. His mama owns them.
So get rid of them. Dump them.
Oh, man. So, yeah, Dave had a good. Where was it? He said to do all the Euro jerseys on Wednesday. Yeah, there it is.
See,
We can do that.
I'm telling you, it's a tinfoil hat show. You have more
Yeah, we
fun
can
with that
roll.
one.
Okay, yeah, we can roll. We can roll through all of them. It's a bit better. 32. It's 32 teams.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't fuck that up. Yeah, sounds right.
That'll be a good segment. Good opening segment.
So Veerman, I don't know much about Veerman other than I'm not high on too many like the current generation of the Dutch squads. I don't know,
Well,
but I don't know much about Veerman.
Speaking of Wednesday, if you guys want to submit stuff for us to react to, you can join the Discord. Slap it in the tinfoil hat show.
Yeah, like scan that big old thing that's covering Dash's face right now because he's slouching in his chair. And and yeah, get into the Discord and let us know what you want to talk about and just shenanigans. It ensues when you have already watched the show and we're not there to drone on about how much we love Chiesa. You can always hop into the Discord and continue on the discussion.
Yeah, and then if you want to submit articles for us to react to on the tinfoil hat show that we do every Wednesday at 5:30, you can.
Always watching. So okay, we'll hold the jersey segment for Dave because he's watching Dune 2.
All right,
we can maybe do that. I fell asleep through Dune 1. I really wanted to do it. I've fallen asleep through Dune original, Dune 1, and I'll probably fall asleep through Dune 2. I'm not gonna lie. Like I want to like it, but there's something that puts me to sleep.
Just Dave has no taste, guys. That's why.
No, I think I like Dune. I've just never been able to complete a movie. I did play the video games. That's why I like Dune. I've always played the video games. It's cool. It's cool shit. Sandworms and things and space dudes and politics and crazy shit. It's just crazy space shit. Anyways, I'm not even that big into sci-fi. It's just
I think it's time to make it like Cam Newton and just beat it out of here because he got jumped and he absolutely rocked everybody that jumped him. Like Cam is an absolute monster.
You're talking about beating out of him. The mail is not in the basement right now, so I'm hoping. Who wants to play some Killzone 2, or could we play something from this decade, KB?
Why don't you play Helldroppers?
Helldivers 2. Yeah, I'm still on the fence. If people want to play Helldivers, that's the thing. It doesn't have to be FC teams in the Discord. We can play whatever we want. We can literally do whatever. It's ours. We run the rules. There are no rules. The rules is don't be a douchebag. Don't be dumb. Yeah, we have to go out of our way to make that old shit works. Like I have to pull my PlayStation 3 out of storage, hope that it still works, and do some like finagle thing to play a game that's 20 years old that is just like the exact same shit as every other. I'll watch you play it, KB. He's got a channel. No. Oh, man, I screwed up. That's another channel I'm thinking of. KB, drop it again. Why am I blanking on your channel name? Raven Vanguard. Which I'm now finding out is a Armored Core reference. Now that I've played it.
Princess Keys is that little cousin that steals $5 from your wallet, but you love him so much you never bring it up.
And Fajoli is that guy that takes $10,000 from your buddy. It's not top down, it's third person. Different. Heading to bed, sleep time. You have a good night as well. Next Define. Okay, I guess that's the next big thing. Yeah, it was supposed to come out last summer. I was trying to play Skull and Bones because I waited 13 years for that, and it turned out to be a masterpiece of shit. So there's my gaming life right now. I'm not even whatever. I don't know. I play FIFA. I fall asleep to playing FIFA basically because it's my namaste. Keeps my head cool. Only because I'm so good at it. And I trash teams 10-0 all the time. I should up the difficulty. But Jolie is that Mexican friend who borrows your stuff and never returns it. That's more like the neighbor. Oh, could I borrow your hammer drill there, bud? I gotta put some nails and some concrete there. I'll get it right back to you tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah, we're doing the hoser talk. It's that time.
It's definitely that time.
Yeah. Happy February. It was a pleasure. Actually, Wednesday is still February.
It is.
Oh,
February 29th.
Okay, fuck you. It's still February. Deal with it. It's the longest February in the past 4 years. Just keep on trucking. That's it.
Guys,
See you Wednesday.
Ever play Mr. Bones for Sega Saturn? Hell yeah. I'm looking for my dumb toxic chick that lives near University of Tampa. What? Where did that come from?
It's another out of left field. Mr. Bones looked that up too. Have not. That looks fucked.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
I swear to God, man. Yo, Jeff's running in Tampa just yelling.
How about that D, baby?
Oh boy. I'm looking up Mr. Bones 2 right now. It looks like a skeleton that plays guitar.
You know how we're like trying to sign off to. Now I'm just rattling off sound bites before that.
Pog back in March. That's something to look forward to.
Yeah, no.
Fuck the Tampa Trampa.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no. No more. Give me a beer.
Why does
All right. On that note. That's the only way we can do it.
The only way we just have to hit the music. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the day after. Again, obviously, like and subscribe to the video. If you want, is Pug really coming back?
We don't know. We don't know.
We don't know.
The court date got moved to March.
His court date got moved.
So
yeah,
nobody knows.
Nobody knows. But on that note, guys, join the Discord if you want to have any certain items or things reacted to on Wednesday. Just slap it in the Tinfoil Hat Show in Wednesday folder there. And on that note, we will see you for February 29th.
28th?
It's 29th, bleep year.
But Wednesday is the 28th.
Fuck.
So don't tell them to show up on Thursday. Show up on Wednesday. And before you leave us, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining, and we will see you on Wednesday. Good night, everyone.